Hi guys. Hi guys, so it's the day before Halloween and I have decided to do some recommendations. Now, before I get started on the recommendations, you should all be made aware of one simple fact. I am a wuss. Like, the worst ever. I don't do scary films, I don't do horror, I can't. It doesn't work. I get freaked out far too easily to watch scary films, especially on my own, especially in the dark. Some books I can't even read in the dark, and I'm not joking. So this video is going to be a recommendations of DVDs, TV shows and films. I'm also uploading and have uploaded another one about books, which I will link in the description. We're going to start with the least scary and work our way up to the most scary. So, first things first, Danger Mouse is the realist. If you've never watched Danger Mouse, what have you been doing with your life? It's a cartoon, he's a superhero mouse. That's literally all there is to it, but the theme tune is amazing. Second up, we have The Devil Wears Prada, and yes, this isn't scary at all, but has devil in the title, and the grilling that she gives to Andy about her sweater, it's quite scary. It's not. This isn't scary at all, but it had devil in the title, and I really like The Devil Wears Prada. Now, the next two are both musicals, and I've already talked about one of them in a previous video, but first and foremost we have The Nightmare Before Christmas, which again, what have you been doing with your life if you haven't seen this film? It's beautiful. Tim Burton, these really weird-ass looking creatures that live in Halloween world, who spend their entire year planning for Halloween, and then Jack the Pumpkin King decides that actually what he wants to do is celebrate Christmas. And the songs are wonderful, the animation is beautiful, it's just like, watch it now, and then watch it again in 2 months' time when it's Christmas. It's a great film. The second musical that I have is the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I have done a tag video for, which I will also link in the description, and this film is wonderful. Tim Curry dressed in corsets and Rocky wearing only golden underwear. There's a lot of people in a lot of underwear, and yet it's not a sexy film, it's just weird as shit and beautiful. I seem to have ordered these in like scariness, but also in like pairs, because the next two are both like mockumentary films. And the first one is a film that was recommended to me by Barry Pierce, who has a YouTube channel called Baz Pierce, and it wasn't like recommended to me specifically, he was just saying, oh, you should watch this film, and I picked it up because he'd recommended it, and it's so good, and it's drop dead gorgeous. It's a film made in the 90s. It's about a beauty pageant in Mount Rose in Minnesota in America, and these girls, and it's wonderful. It's got a great cast, including Allison Janney, who is like, I love Allison Janney. Anything with her in, you have to watch it. Even if it's gonna be shit, you must watch it for Allison Janney. And it's hilarious. All these girls start dying in a beauty pageant. It's so funny. It's really dark, it's dark humour, but it's really funny. And it's death, and so counts as Halloweeny. The second mockumentary is District 9, which I've talked about in a previous video, which is like a mockumentary about what would happen if aliens came to planet Earth, and kind of that we'd treat them the same as we treat immigrants, and like put them in slums and like really bad living conditions, and then blame them for the world's problems. Like I've said in a previous video, I have only seen the first half like 3 times, but what I've seen of it, it's really good, really interesting, and like it'll more make you think than scare you, but I think it's a really great film. The next film is Labyrinth, which again is not scary in any way at all, and is a musical, although I think it only has one song. But like, it's a beautiful film. It's so weird. Basically, this girl wishes that her half-brother would be taken by the Troll King, and then guess what? Her baby brother's taken by the Troll King, because no one ever makes stupid wishes like that. And then she goes on this like quest to find her brother, all the while the Troll King's like, you, 14-year-old girl, marry me! Because everyone's interested in prepubescent girls in horror films. So the next one I don't actually have the DVD of because my parents have very stupidly lent it out to someone. What is this, being kind to people? But it is on YouTube because that was where it was originally aired, and it is Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, and it is the best 45-minute musical ever written. It's hilarious. Basically, it's the story of Dr. Horrible, who is trying to control the world and join the evil League of Evil, and simultaneously he's trying to woo the girl of his dreams, Penny, into being his girlfriend, and defeat his arch nemesis, Captain Hammer. If all of that isn't enough to persuade you to watch it, A, it was written and directed by Joss Whedon, the guy who created Buffy and who directed the Avengers movie. B, it's got Neil Patrick Harris as the main character. And C, it's got Nathan Fillion as the bad guy who's the superhero. Like, if that... and Felicia Day. Like, how is that not enough to make you want to watch this? But so I will leave the link to the YouTube channel that has the film in the description as well, and you should definitely all go and watch that. The next kind of the 6 things left, 5 of them are also created by Joss Whedon. I'm going to start with 2 of them and they have to be shown together. So the first one is Firefly and the second one is Serenity. If you're not aware, Firefly's TV show, Fox, the bastards that they are, cancelled it halfway through season 1 because they're stupid. And Serenity was the film made in 2005 that kind of tied some of the loose ends, but not really, because it was like, it was half a season and it got really interesting, and then all they get is like 90 minutes to fix things. So, doesn't quite work, but they are both fantastic. Basically, the tagline that I have for this show is, it's Space Cowboys. And I'm not even joking. They're a tag team crew of outlaws and outcasts who fly around space doing illegal work. It's got some fantastic casting in it, it's beautiful, it's witty, it's clever, it's set in space, it's funny, the cast is amazing, the diversity is pretty effing good as well. It's just, they're wonderful. And Firefly, for something that got cancelled halfway into its first season, it's got a massive cult following, and there are people still now who are kind of campaigning to get more of this show, to read the comics, writing fanfiction. Like, it's a majorly cult classic thing, and everyone should watch it because it's fantastic and hilarious. So watch both of these. Watch the TV show first, then the movie. Don't watch the movie before the TV show. Next up, also by Joss Whedon, is Dollhouse. This is a 2-series long TV show because, again, people keep cancelling Joss Whedon's stuff, which is a video for a different day. This stars Eliza Dushku, who is also an executive producer, and she was Faith in Buffy. She is the main character, Echo, who we learn is a doll, and this is a person who has their mind filled with somebody else's personality, and they believe that they are that person, and they are that person. And really, really rich people can buy a doll for a certain amount of time with a specific personality, be that someone you want to sleep with. So you've had a crush on this person for a really long time but they don't like you. Well, if you're really rich, you can buy their personality put into a doll of your choosing, and we can fix their personality so that all they want to do is have sex with you. And like, that's the tip of the iceberg. It gets a lot crazier than that, and it's 2 series long and beautiful. It's fantastic. Again, witty, clever, funny, and on top of that there's like layers and layers of kind of who's on what side, who's the good team, who's the bad team, can you trust anyone? The answer being no, of course you can't. But it's hilarious and funny, and although it did only get 2 seasons, it did wrap up more than Firefly did, although all of your questions aren't answered, because why would that be a thing that everyone wants? 3 left, and the next one is a very, very long thing, and I don't think you'd be able to watch it all between now and the midnight tomorrow night, and it is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's basically what it sounds like on the tin. Starts off in season 1, 15-year-old girl who is the chosen one, chosen to slay the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. she is like, she's just a typical teenager, except for the fact that she, you know, hunts the things that go bump in the night and has super strength and the ability to sense the undead. But as well as that, she also is very different from the previous Vampire Slayers in that she kind of tells people about who she is, and she has friends who help her, and it just gets good, guys. It's wonderful. Like, there's a musical episode. Like, it's a brilliant show. It's aged fantastically. This started in '97, I believe, and it's funny. It's funny, it's clever, it's not very scary because, like, but I started watching this when I was 6, and it's a very nostalgic TV show for me, as well as being, like, brilliant. It very much reminds me of kind of, like, growing up. That said, it's not a kid's show, so, like, be aware. If you're over 10, it's probably fine. But, like, it's got everything that you want from, like, a sci-fi fantasy horror TV show thing. It's beautiful. Go and watch it. Just go and watch it. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Alison Hannigan and Anthony Stewart Head and, like, all the cast you could ever want in a TV show. The penultimate DVD that I'm going to show you is Misfits, and if you haven't seen this, I don't know where you've been in the past 5 years. Misfits is a TV show about kids who are doing community service and then they get caught in a freak storm and are all given superpowers, but they're all kind of really shitty powers for, like, no reason. Like, you touch, one of them gets a power that's like, I touch you and you immediately want to have sex with me. Like, not the greatest powers in the world, but it's hilarious. It's really crude. It's not always politically correct, so be wary. This is the first season. I think there are 4 seasons in total, and it's funny. It's clever and it's funny, and it's like satire English humour. So the last one is the only one of these that could even be counted as a real horror movie, and it's Cabin in the Woods. Again, created by Joss Whedon. Stars Chris Hemsworth, Thor, but before he was Thor. This was filmed in 2009, but didn't get released until I think 2011 because the company that was producing it, like, lost all its money and got shut down. But it's legitimately the only scary movie that I like. Mainly because it's a kind of satire, dark humour, like, parody of horror movies. It's not like a scary movie parodies. It's like, let's do everything and, like, poke fun of the fact that all horror movies have the same plot. But it's got a really fantastic cast. If you watch Grey's Anatomy, it's got Avery from that, and one of the actors who is in Dollhouse is also in this, and it's wonderful. Like, this is going to be the first thing that I watch tomorrow when it becomes Halloween, because I love this film. So yeah, that's my recommendations for Halloween. I'm gonna do the thumbnail, hang on. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. I am going to be posting another video tomorrow, but after that I don't know when my next video will be up, but it will be up within the next week, and I will see you soon. Bye! Ah, the pretty Danger Mouse! Amazing! I want to say that's Thor and not his little brother, but I could be very wrong. Or Buffy, Slayer of the Vampires. Yes, that is a reference to Storyteller. You remind me of the Babe. What Babe? The Babe with the power. What power? The power of voodoo. Who do? You do. You do remind me of the Babe.